She believes the narrative she has constructed for her friends, her family, and most importantly, herself. She tells the world that the chapter is closed, the ink is dry, and the book has been placed back on the shelf. In her mind, she has achieved a state of total detachment. She has deleted the digital artifacts of your existence, muted the notifications that once dictated her dopamine levels, and filled the empty spaces in her calendar with the noise of others. On the surface, the transition is seamless. She is seen in new places, laughing with new people, and engaging in the performative rituals of modern moving on. But beneath the surface, a different architecture is at play. The human mind is not a hard drive that can be wiped clean with a single command. It is a complex web of emotional associations and nervous system responses. And when she encountered a man who was truly grounded, she didn't just meet a person, she experienced a frequency. Most men exist as noise. They are a constant stream of seeking, needing, and reacting. They fill the air with their insecurities and their desperate attempts to be seen. But the grounded man exists as a silence that demands to be heard. He is a reference point. And when he is gone, the silence he left behind begins to grow louder than the noise she has replaced him with. This is the psychological imprint of a presence that was not built on performance, but on depth. She finds herself in the middle of a mundane task, driving to work, choosing a coffee, or staring at a sunset, and suddenly, the ghost of your presence manifests. It is not a memory of what you said, because words are cheap and easily forgotten. It is a memory of how she felt in the proximity of your certainty. She remembers the way your energy didn't fluctuate when she tested you. She remembers the way you listened not to respond, but to understand the core of her being. She remembers the weight of your gaze, which didn't look for validation, but offered a mirror to her own soul. This is where the haunting begins. It starts as a whisper of comparison. She meets a new man who is charming, perhaps even more successful or conventionally attractive. He says all the right things. He follows the social script to perfection. But as she sits across from him, she feels a strange, hollow sensation. The conversation is light, yet it lacks gravity. He is trying so hard to impress her that he becomes transparent. She can see the gears of his need for her approval turning behind his eyes. And in that moment, she involuntarily thinks of you. Not because she wants you back in that specific second, but because you are the standard against which all depth is now measured. You were the man who didn't need her to be anything other than what she was, and in turn, you didn't need her to validate your existence. That lack of neediness is a rare psychological commodity. It creates a vacuum when it is removed. The more she tries to fill that vacuum with superficial interactions, the more the vacuum pulls at her. She begins to realize that moving on is easy, but replacing an impact is nearly impossible. The human nervous system is designed to seek safety and stability. In a world of emotional volatility, a grounded man represents a psychological harbor. When she was with you, her nervous system could relax. She didn't have to manage your emotions or navigate the minefield of your insecurities. You were the stable element in the equation. Now that you are gone, she finds herself constantly on edge, even if she doesn't realize why. She is navigating a world of men who are like weather vanes, shifting with every breeze of her mood. And she misses the mountain. She misses the man who stood still while the storm raged around him. This is the mechanics of becoming an unforgettable presence. It is not about being the best lover, the richest provider, or the most entertaining companion. It is about being the most emotionally integrated version of yourself. Most men are fragmented. They show one side to the world, another to their peers, and a hidden, needy side to the women they desire. But the grounded man is whole. His internal world is consistent with his external expression. This consistency creates a deep sense of trust, not just in him, but in the reality he provides. When that reality is withdrawn, the woman experiences a form of ontological shock. The world feels less real because the man who helped ground it is no longer there. This is why she rereads old messages when she's alone, searching for the source of that feeling. She isn't looking for information, she's looking for the resonance. She wants to feel that frequency one more time. But the messages are just symbols. The power was in the man behind them. As time passes, the absence begins to do its work. Silence is the ultimate mirror. It forces her to confront the reasons why things ended, but more importantly, it forces her to confront what she lost. If you had chased her, you would have provided her with the validation she needed to stay away. By chasing, you would have confirmed her suspicion that she was the prize and you were the seeker. You would have given her the power to dismiss you. But by walking away and remaining in your own power, you left her with an open loop. The brain hates an open loop. It seeks closure, and when it cannot find it in reality, it creates a feedback loop in the imagination. She begins to wonder what you are doing, who you are with, and if you ever think of her. But more than that, she wonders if you were ever truly hers. The grounded man is never fully possessed. There is always a part of him that belongs only to himself, to his purpose, and to his own internal landscape. This slight unpredictability, this sense of self-containment, is what makes him so magnetic. Even when she was with you, she felt that you could survive without her. And now that you are, it confirms her greatest fear and her greatest attraction, that you are a complete entity. This realization hits a breaking point. It usually happens when she is at her most vulnerable, or, ironically, when she is supposed to be at her happiest. She is at a party, surrounded by people, yet she feels a profound sense of isolation because no one there can see her the way you did. They see the mask she wears. You saw the architecture of her spirit. She realizes that most people are just looking for someone to fill a role in their own movie, but you were the director who didn't need the movie to be successful to feel worthy. The tactical response to this breaking point is where the true masculine wisdom lies. When she inevitably reaches out, and if the imprint was deep enough, she will, it will not be a grand declaration. It will be a test text, a random memory, or a subtle question. She is testing the gravity. She wants to see if you have moved, if you have become needy in her absence, or if you are still the mountain. Most men fail here. They see the message and they feel a surge of victory. They reply instantly. They ask too many questions. They show their hand. They prove that they were just waiting in the wings for her return. And in that instant, the ghost vanishes. The mystery is solved. The mountain has turned back into a molehill. To maintain the imprint, you must respond with the same groundedness that defined your presence. You are not cold, but you are contained. You are not distant, but you are not desperate. You treat her reach out as a minor event in a very significant life. This is not a game. It is a reflection of your actual reality. If you have truly spent your time away from her, building your empire, sharpening your mind, and deepening your soul, then her return is indeed a minor event compared to the magnitude of your mission. This is the shift from seeking to being. You no longer haunt her because you want her back. You haunt her because you have become a version of yourself that she can no longer access without your permission. The power dynamic has completely inverted. You have moved from the person who was done to the person who is whole. And a woman will always be drawn to wholeness, It is the ultimate aphorism of attraction. The final stage of this process is the philosophical shift within yourself. You realize that the goal was never to be unforgettable to her. The goal was to be undeniable to yourself. The work you did to become grounded, the discipline, the emotional regulation, the pursuit of purpose, was not for the sake of an audience. It was for the sake of the man in the mirror. When you reach this level of self-actualization, the question of whether she remembers you becomes irrelevant. You carry your own presence. You are your own home. And ironically, it is this exact state of being that makes you a permanent fixture in her psyche. You are the man who got away, not because she left, but because you outgrew the need for her to stay. You have become a legend in the geography of her heart, a landmark that she will use to navigate the rest of her life. Whether she ever walks through your doors again is secondary to the fact that you have built a temple that can stand without her worship. This is the true meaning of masculine power. It is not the power to control others, but the power to be so firmly rooted in your own truth that your absence is felt as a fundamental shift in the world. You are no longer a ghost. You are the foundations. And foundations are never forgotten, because without them, nothing else can stand. You have moved beyond the transactional nature of modern relationships and into the realm of the essential. You are the grounded man, and your absence is a silence that will echo in her mind for as long as she lives, reminding her that once she stood in the presence of something real.